think it's all
I'm
systems go. No, I think we're good. It's time now to speak to this man.
Castro again, oh, featuring Baby Jet, BK, what do this beat, yo? Me thank you, I don't be do the end, jumpy, yeah. We are back on, no, that's we are back on, no, we are back on, no.
Yes, let's say hello and welcome live to the show. A proper World Cup legend, former Ghanaian captain Asamoah Gyan joins us.
Hey, hello, how you guys doing?
Asamoah, how you doing? You okay?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are very well. Very excited you're on our show. When was the last time you spoke to Benty?
Once in a while we do text. You know, anytime he needs something, he just text me and yeah. So the last time was I think in last January during the African Cup. You know. I think that was the last time we spoke. Yeah,
that sounds like Benny. He only texts you when he needs something, right?
Darren never. He's not good in touch.
That would change after today.
He's not good keeping in touch.
That would change, I promise you. Listen, firstly, thank you so much for coming on. We get loads and loads of guests on talkSPORT and on Drive, but when they're proper legends like yourself, you know, we're really honoured and flattered. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. We've got so much to talk to you about. Obviously, when we knew you were coming onto the show, we were all chatting beforehand. Me and the boys were all getting very excited about it. But the one thing we all mentioned basically at the same time was, of course, that quarter-final against Uruguay. You know, the handball from from Suarez, and then of course the penalty that subsequently was missed by yourself. What are your recollections of that game? And now looking back, because it's over 10 years, do you still feel the same towards Luis Suarez, or has it changed at all?
Honestly, I'm a football player and I do understand the game. You know, and you know, back home, you know, everybody who watched the game, you know, like they dislike him. You know, but me being in the game, I always say, if I was Suarez, I would have done the same to save my country, you know. So he's a hero there, you know. Although people see it as a cheat, but he has done what he had to do to keep. He kept his country to the semi-finals, you know. So for me, people do hate him, you know, but I'm in the game as well, you know. So he did what he had to do to keep his country to the semi-final, you know. But it's been 10 years now, and it still sticks to my mind, you know. Every time there's a World Cup or there's any game, like sometimes you put something and randomly somebody comes speak about a penalty, so it's like a stain in my body, and I have to live with it.
Asamoah, how did you feel? I mean, I'm pretty sure I spoke to you about this when you joined Sunderland, but you had to take two penalties, one in the penalty shootout and unfortunately the one you missed. What was your mindset going into the first one and then having to take another one?
You know, honestly, Darren, I was the first penalty taker in the team at that time. You know, any penalty, I'm responsible for any penalty shootout. You know, so going there, and then before that game, the first game against Serbia, I scored 1-0 through a penalty. Second game against Australia through a penalty. You know, third game I didn't score, and then I scored against USA. So I had the whole confidence in the world. You know, so going to that penalty, I felt like, yeah, I'm a striker, and the first penalty taker, I have to do my job. You know, so going there wasn't any pressure at all. You know, but what I was amazed is what I was surprised is my penalty going that high. You know, normally my penalty doesn't go that high. You know, that was what I was surprised.
Have you spoken to Luis Suarez since? Did he speak to you on the evening? Did he come into your dressing room? What's your relationship been like since?
He was in Liverpool at that time, and he had come to England. I didn't think he spoke English like he speaks English at that time. If Darren can bear with me, I don't know. So honestly, I've never ever spoken to him till we played against Liverpool. I think they won 4-2 at Sunderland, and you just did a handshake. People thought I was going to ignore him or something, but we had a handshake and that was it. Like, that was the only time. I've never spoken to him before.
Asamoah, I mean, we've seen now that Ghana are in playing Uruguay in this year's World Cup. Do you think there's still maybe a bit of rivalry between the two countries after what happened in 2010?
Honestly, football players, sometimes they have it in mind, we have to get a revenge, but I think it's the fans, the people behind are the one pushing the agenda, fans will always be fans, they saw what happened, everybody saw what happened, but individually, some players might take it personal. I'm not in anybody's head. Somebody might say, okay, we're going for a revenge for what happened in 2010. But we are sportsmen, and for me, I think they are in camp and they know what they are capable of. I think 10 years ago, they saw what happened. People will take it personal. People will also take it as a sportive perspective, going into the game and trying to deliver and then win. So it's different thing altogether. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
We do, of course we do. As well, let me ask you, I think I'm right in saying you're 36 years old. Were you disappointed you weren't selected for the Ghana team? And how close did you get? And were there any conversations to be had?
No, I wasn't disappointed at all. My focus was to just get back in shape and then come back to the field, I was asked whether if I was invited to the national team, would I honor? I said, yeah, why not? If I'm invited to the national team, I have to, because I haven't retired internationally, from the national team, So that was the question asked, and then I give the answer. I was ready to accept any call-up or something, despite not being ready at that time. But I got ready, and honestly, the list came out, and I wasn't included. Nobody spoke to me. I think I spoke to the head coach once, and he said he's got his team ready, and then he wished I could be a backroom staff, which I wasn't ready at that time, But we spoke mutually, and life goes on.
Asamoah, I know that you're Ghana's all-time record goal scorer, 51 goals, I think, but you're also, in terms of African players, you're the record holder for FIFA World Cup goals. Do you think you could have probably offered something, even if it was just coming off the bench, a bit of experience to talk to some of the younger players?
Yeah. I think I've got a lot of things to offer. All these guys coming to the World Cup look up to me before. 10 years ago, I don't think some of them were even playing in the first division. So growing up, I think I was one of the guys they were looking up to. So it would have been a huge difference. But unfortunately, I'm not there. So we will be behind them, and then we will support as football fans, and then we see what happens. But if I was there, I'm sure I would have made a huge impact.
Well, let me ask you your view on the African countries that are there. You've got Tunisia, Ghana, Cameroon, Senegal and Morocco. Out of those, who do you think would do the best? And do you think this could be the first World Cup we see an African team get past the last 8?
We hope to see, at least. I think for the past how many years, 2 African countries have never qualified to the next stage of the competition. We just have once every time, like Senegal, Cameroon, and Ghana did it in 2006. We did it in 2010. So I think this time what we're hoping for is at least 2 or 3 African countries, or even all the African countries can even qualify to the next stage. Every African country on paper has been ruled as the underdog, which we on paper, yeah, it looks like that. But we Africans, we have to prove ourselves wrong. We have to prove to everybody we are better. We can compete, So going there as underdogs is not any disrespectful thing. It's the reality, on paper and everything statistically. And that is what that should boost their morale. That should boost their confidence. Going to a competition as underdog, there won't be any pressure. You have to just make sure you've proved yourself and prove people wrong that this is just on paper, but tournament we can deliver. And going to a tournament, the tournament is a different game altogether. It's different than the league. It's different than anything. Like going to a tournament, somebody star can shine and then deliver. It's just a tournament, so we have to just stay focused. And then the first thing is to just qualify from the group stage. So all these African teams, I'm an African and I'm rooting for every African team to go through the next stage of the competition.
Asamoah, I think I've asked you this before, but when you turn up to Sunderland, I always found it quite strange that you like number 3. Can you just remind everyone why it is that you wear number 3?
Yeah, I always say, 3 is a powerful number. You want somebody for the first time, the second time, the third time is going to be action. So the 3 is very powerful. And also my philosophy, you're lifting something very heavy. You count 1, 2, 3. So the 3 generates a lot of energy. So that is how I got the number 3. That is my philosophy.